Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code PLANETPaintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
All right, welcome back to the Planet Paintball Podcast, brought to you by 1023 and Southwest Paintball in Bayfield, Colorado. And today with me, I got Rob from Kinetic. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, but I'm excited to talk to the masses again, tell the story.
And I didn't tell you this before we started, but you guys we got a club, if you will, that a lot of teams come out of, AC Greenville, and you guys did the jerseys for that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Forgot the dude's name. It's like Michael or something.
Yes. Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. We worked on that project together. Jerseys came out super clean. It seemed like everybody was super happy with it. So super happy that everybody enjoys it. So it's great to hear when in like a more like casual club gets started. You kind of don't really see that too often.
Yeah, it's been a cool concept, and teams are starting to grow out of it. They just we got a little 3-man X-Ball league that kind of runs in between the Rock Hill area where they do D-Day at, and then down here a little south of Greenville and 6 Mile, kind of next to Clemson University.
Okay, cool, nice.
So, and they sent 3 teams to that this past weekend.
Wow.
And D4 got second, so congratulations
Good for
to those guys.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, we did like 20-something jerseys for them. It was a pretty sizable order, so I'm super happy about it.
Yeah, he's had a lot of people take interest into it, and I think part of it is because it is more of a club thing, a little less commitment, which is nice. Float in and out as you please. So, but when did you guys start Kinetic?
So we started Kinetic. So we started it before we were a company. Okay. This is like 2015, 2016 time. My partner, Ed, who's also our CTO right now, and he handles all of our product development. At his wedding, he basically came up with the idea because we actually met when we played in college together. So I played at Temple University. So did he. He was there. I was an undergraduate and he was in law school. We played like a season and a half, and then law school just kind of got too difficult for him to keep up with playing paintball.
Understandable.
Yeah, but towards he graduated at his wedding. Some of the guys from the team were at the wedding and stuff, and he was really upset with kind of how soft goods were being made for the industry, because he saw with our team and just some guys that he knows that are still playing that people were going through pieces of gear multiple times within a season. And the way that we look at it is when you play a sport, you don't just buy whatever. You invest in yourself. So with zero textile knowledge, no knowledge about making clothing, zero sewing skills or whatever, he just has a very analytical engineering type of mind. He basically says I think I could do something better. I can do the research and figure out what the fabrics and the types of stitches and things like that we should be using in this industry. And I think I could do it better. I mean, that's a big portion of what his job is as a lawyer. Is he's just really good at researching stuff, researching past precedents and stuff. So he just kind of put in that time. He borrowed his grandmother's 1940s sewing machine. For anybody that doesn't know, that era of sewing equipment is actually much better than what it is today. Anything that's basically bolted to a table is significantly better. Yeah. Bought a bunch of fabrics and then sewed a pair of pants. He's about 6'2". He sewed a pair of pants and they fit me perfectly because he missized it. But I mean, it was his first time ever putting together a piece of clothing. So obviously some mistakes are going to be happening. It was at our alumni day. There's a picture somewhere on my Facebook. I tried out the pants and I was like, these are awesome. Especially since they're samples, there's no logos, there's no nothing, there's no branding. And especially during that time, this is when GI had the big giant stars on the thighs. Every single sponsor out there or manufacturer out there is putting their logo as big as they can across every single piece of clothing, something you turn into a walking billboard. playing in school, like we were partially funded by the school, and then everything kind of came out of pocket. Like we had some help from like our local fields to get like paint deals and stuff like that. But for the most part, like we were kind of on our own. There were some businesses on campus that like helped donated some money and stuff, but like nothing like super substantial. So like I really enjoyed the idea of like wearing a pair of pants that had no logos on it. It's like I sponsor myself essentially. After I wore it to NCPA Nationals like 2016, I fell in love with the product, and I was like graduating school, and I basically told him, I was like, hey man, like I think you really have something here. You have an engineering type of mind. It's like you're not going to be a salesperson, like, but you know what I mean? Stay in your lane, and I'll stay in my lane. It's like, and that was like the moment where we kind of had like, will you put your money where your mouth is? You know what I mean? And let's see if we can do this. A great precursor to that is that my family, my mom and my dad, they come from a manufacturing background. My mom
Okay.
now has like almost 50 years of home textiles experience with like clients that are like Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, like multi-million dollar, like they do like kids bed sheets and stuff like that. So anything that you see in like Walmart or Kmart or something that's like Dora the Explorer or Marvel, like one of those things, there's a good chance that she's made it.
Okay.
And then my father was kind of more on the production side, meaning not like, hey, we need to get all these fabrics and stuff, but it's like, okay, it's the construction of the actual garment. So pattern making, going through the process that's called grading, which is basically how you make your different sizes and things like that. So between the two of them, we had like a mentorship team that could kind of guide us as we try to go into this endeavor. So it's like late 2016, 2017, we start our Kickstarter. We internally started with like, I don't know, like $7,000-8,000 from a manufacturing standpoint is basically nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that a lot of people don't realize, especially in our industry, is that like when people start and they make clothing, like they go to a lot of these factories that already have patterns and like they've already have these garments. It's like, okay, well, you want your logo on it. It's like, we could do that. So you're just buying basically what's called, like I said, you're basically buying samples and then you're rebranding it. But for us, like we constructed, like it was our pattern, it was our design, like we completely made it from scratch. So with that process, like you have to go out and buy fabric, you have to find a factory that's going to produce it. It's like this whole big thing. And we really wanted to make sure that with the fabrics that we're using, we were kind of going over the top. Our whole business motto is that we want to be the best by a landslide. We actually had worked with somebody within the paintball industry to be our first factory. When we delivered fabric to them, they're like, wow, this is really good. It's like, you guys know you guys can use like a cheaper fabric and like we'll bring your cost of goods down. It's like, that's not the point. I had a job coming out of college. He was a lawyer. It's like, this is a passion project. We want, when people see us, and what's really nice, and I like to think that most of the industry sees it, that when they hear Kinetic is like, yeah, these guys, they don't skip out on anything. Like they do it the most. So yeah, we ran our Kickstarter, got funded a little bit to do our first run. I think it took much longer than expected to deliver our first round of pants, which kind of sucked. I think we had like one person actually ask for their money back on the Kickstarter, which he then bought pants after the Kickstarter. Yeah, it was hilarious. I hand delivered him the pants and stuff too, and it was like, dude, you should have just stayed with the Kickstarter. He's actually one of our sponsor teams now. He's a pretty decent friend, so I've known him for a couple years now. But yeah, from there, like we kind of stayed on track, like trying to build up capital and like keep building the business, and we try to figure out what our next product was going to be, which is where we ended up with our pack. We saw what we believe to be a lot of issues with harnesses that are in paintball, because they're basically designed to fall apart. The elasticity in your belt, like it's always going to break down like over time. Like it's just a natural thing for elastic. So like how do we fix that? And like guys are going through multiple packs a season sometimes. And you got to buy a new pack every time. It's like, we didn't think that was the best thing. It's like, okay, like what if you can just like buy a part for a pack? You know, I mean, you make one time big investment, and then as things break down, like you're just like taking things off the wall, and it's like you're spending less money, which kind of gave us the runway for our modular pack, which I mean is great. I know I'll talk to a lot of people, they really like the design. And we incorporated a lot of technology from other industries, like a gun belt. A lot of the technology for our belt is based off of gun belts.
Okay.
And then also like lifting belts for like that lumbar support. I mean, you play, so depending on the pack that you wear, sometimes you know how you get that like floppiness on the back pad and kind of like flops all around. It's like shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be running and then your pack is kind of like like this and you're losing paint as you're running and stuff. Is like no. So that's kind of how we came up with this like lumbar support within our pack, so that it kind of distributes the weight across your entire back, so it kind of stays firmer up against your pack. And then over the course of the years, like we started making these minor adjustments. A lot of people that I talk to is like, why do you come out with a new pair of pants or like a new pack like once every year or two? It's, well, we take in all of the feedback that we get from our teams and from customers, from anything that comes in from a DM on Instagram or an email, and we take in all that information. We ask our teams to tell us as much as possible so that we can fix issues. It's a big proponent of what we try to do, is that we want to fix an issue, and it could be something as small as like our old belt for our pants. It was like a diagonal, and it had like a point, and people were like, yeah, it kind of cuts into like my stomach a little bit. It's like, that's a super easy fix. I round the belt and that's boom. But I won't know that information unless somebody tells me. You know what I mean? I can't mind read. Nobody can. So we actively talk to our teams, and like especially when I go to NXL, like I try to see as many of our teams as possible. Uh, Kind of see them in the pits and like, hey, how are you guys doing? Like, what's going on? Like, more face to face, because I feel like a lot of times if you're stuck in a booth, you never really see anybody. Like, if I know everybody's schedule, especially at one point in time, I used to be like the company photographer before I started hiring some of my friends. Like, it was an easy way to just go connect with our teams and our customer base, which was like a really great way of getting in. And it actually funded my way to going to NXL for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't have the budget in the company to send me to NXL to like go like press the flesh. So like I had to get out there so that people will still know our name and stuff and kind of put a face to everything. So I was like, yeah, we need content for our social media page. Like, I've always been interested in photography. I've had some great mentors in the photography space, like George Fava, real close with Solus. Like, we have our whole like media gang crew now that we stay at NXLs with, and they helped me immensely getting off the ground in terms of photography. And now like I go to a lot of those guys to help me with our media needs, which is really fantastic. But yeah, man, that's kind of like a little abridged version of the company though.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. So I got a question about the pack, because there, long time ago, there was a other modular pack, like the original Reds pack. I don't know if you were,
Yeah.
did that influence you guys in that design? Because that was modular, the original one? Or
So
was it?
that's a great question for my business partner, because since he designed the
Okay.
pack, I think on the Reds pack, like you can take
You
off
could
and
switch out the pack and the belt, and that was it,
yeah, no,
right?
I have no idea about that. To be honest, like I thought that we were the first ones that did fully modular.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if they did, they had something, and then I don't know whatever happened to Reds. Like, it didn't take off. Like, maybe there
Oh,
was like
yeah.
inventory issues or whatever. But
Well,
yeah,
and
man.
this was long ago, and at one point they got away from that modular system and went into like what's now kind of the standard. You buy the whole pack. Kind of take us like, how modular is modular? Can you put one pod holder on it? Like, what's the minimum? What's the max?
Our pack essentially comes in 4 pieces. The belt is in 2 pieces, which is like an inside belt and an outside belt. And really, the inside belt is more for comfort than it is for anything. You could run the pack without the inside belt. I haven't seen anybody do it, but like in theory, you can.
Okay.
And then the back pad and the loops are 2 separate pieces. So like we only have one set of loops,
Okay.
which is like our 5 across, and I think we're at like 13 pods right now.
Okay.
But we thought at a time that we were gonna make like a 4+ version or like a 3+ version. It just didn't really make any sense to us. And to be honest, like there's not a lot of people that burn through pod loops. I think that ever since we launched the pack, I think I've replaced maybe like 10 sets of loops.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's not a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, so like it never really made any sense. We thought about going down to a 4 if the main leagues were going to do like 4 pods only. Like we were just going to make that switch over. We thought about doing like a 4 pod only version for like Europe and for like overseas. But even still, like the way we've gotten so technical with our pack that we made it so that our 5 across is as wide as most companies' 4 across.
Okay.
By taking the measurements and like removing like some of the foam like in between the loops, so that like it gave us the extra space to be able to like essentially add another pod.
Well, I like that you went 5 across too, because the industry standard's kind of 4, right? And then plus 2
Yeah,
sponges on the side. I always end up running with 6 just because I don't need 6. I'd prefer to run with 5, but I don't want to feel off balance.
yeah,
So,
yeah. We were originally at 11, and then we had like a bunch of guys that play 10-man. It's like, yeah, we really wish that you would hold like at least 2 more. It's like, well, in theory, like if you wanted something custom, at one point in time we were about to start offering like additional pod loops that we would sew on after the fact.
okay.
But we basically ran out of inventory. It's like, hey, can we just add it on? And he was like, yeah, it's super easy to add on. Like it's not an issue. It's like, all right, add it on. Like, so be it. Like, it's now 13 pods. Like, there shouldn't be anybody in this world that says they are not carrying or able to carry enough paint. So
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, when you guys first started, you did custom inseams, right?
yeah. So when we first started the company, a big differentiator for us that we wanted to do is like, if you're going to be investing so much into a pair of pants, 170, 180, because we weren't really giving that many deals at the time. It was like, get custom inseams. We weren't also moving that much product. Like, we had the bandwidth and we are able to do it. And we moved away from that just because of the sheer volume that we're doing. Um,
Yeah.
what we tell people is like, hey, like I need to be a little bit longer. There's always like, it's anywhere between 1.5 to 3 inches of extra length within the bottom of the pant. If you need to extend it, I know a couple guys they'll just undo the hem at the bottom and just like rock no hem because they need the extra
Okay.
length. But it's also like, if you need it to be shorter, like any local tailor can go fix that for like a $5 or $10.
Okay.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why like how a lot of pants used to use like the scrunchy bottom or like the ripcord
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Change the length. So by just having like your typical like pant cuff, it now makes it super simple for the end user and wants us at one point in time to change the length of the pants.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure how you guys did that, if you ballparked it and then did it, or
Oh
if
no, let me
everything
tell
was a
you.
custom order.
Oh yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, we would take people's, it was inseam, and so many people messed up their inseam. And it was like, all right, now we're gonna move the outer seam. It should be easier. It's like that from your ankle to like where you wear your pants and stuff. You'd send that in, and then we would do like the custom hemming and stuff. But it got to a point that we were doing so much business, like we simply cannot keep up with the orders. And so we just changed the model, and people started coming to us more for quality gear than it was for the custom sizing. And anybody that asks us about custom sizing is like, hey, you can go do this yourself. It's super simple.
Okay.
I mean, we've had people like their grandmothers go do it at their
Yeah.
house.
Nice. So what version of the pan are we on right now?
So we're closing out the KPK. Our next version of the pants is going to be KPS 2.0. I think it's got to be like 6, something like that.
Okay.
Uh, Realistically, like, we're not keeping the KPK just because, like, with tariffs and everything, like it would just be too expensive. Like, it'd get priced out for everybody. Nobody's gonna
Okay.
want to pay over $200 for a pair of pants. At that
So if
point
you
in
want
time.
them, get them now from the
Yeah,
website.
yeah,
That's what you're saying.
we are super low on stock on our KPKs. I think we have like small, medium, and double XL right now.
Okay.
But the KPS 2.0, it's basically the same exact thing, with just like some small changes to like our knee panel fabric. It's not like this like new hybrid fabric that my partner Kent like basically created with our textile mill. Yeah, literally we have to make that fabric from scratch to use it, and it's just hella expensive
Mhm.
is really what it comes down to. And just the market is just not going to be able to, they're not going to want to pay for it.
Gotcha. Guess gotta take that into account.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Just a little. Yeah. Not many want a $500 pair of pants for paintball, at least. So the jerseys,
Yeah.
that was new this year, right? Or
Um,
was it last year?
Last year we started doing jerseys. We worked with a couple different manufacturers, some different fabric suppliers. We started really dialing in who we want to work with in terms of factory and supplier. Like, we do want to make an update to how the pattern of the jersey is. That should be coming, I would say, probably maybe next year. Not fully sure. I got to talk to Ken about that. There's a lot of things on his list that he has to do on top of his day job and like taking care of his kids. But yeah, I mean, he's got like a whole like workbench table like in his basement, just like messing around with different fabrics and sewing patterns, like using online like resources to like, create digital patterns and stuff. He's like, we're trying to do pads and stuff, so I think he ordered like 12 different types of foam to try for different knee pads and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, everything from your typical EVA foam that most companies use to stuff that like motorcycle riders like put in their knee pads. So like, and even that, like that's gonna be probably like a 2-year process once we get like a fit sample and like a budget in a good place for it. Just testing out pads, whether it's in the heat or it's in the cold. Paintball's
Yeah.
played all over the country, and then like how does it last over the course of a year? So I mean, our pants took us about to get to market about 2 years. Our pack took about 2.5 years to get to market. For the we'll call it the harder stuff that's a little bit more technologically advanced. Like it takes time to like do it right, put it through the grinder, you know what I mean, of
Yeah.
like R&D and whatnot, so that when we do come out with something, it's like, wow, this is like really well done. That's what we're about. I mean, our hoodie, I wore our original hoodie sample since like 2019, and our first version, our first production version came out. This is the winter going into 2024. So, but yeah, it's all a long timetable for us.
That hoodie was a big hit.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
people copied you on it.
Yeah, a lot of people copied us after the first year. I mean, Destroyer, Under, Infamous, like you name it, everybody's got like winter playing gear now. But yeah, it seems to I don't want to be that guy, but it seems that they're just trying to get something out there to get out there. But yeah, I mean, I love the competition in the space, and it kind of brings people to like, hey, what's your price point? What are you looking for? I mean, I got guys that would wear our hoodie. It's like 30 degrees outside and snowing, and they're like got a t-shirt underneath, and it's like, I'm good. So yeah. And then I have guys in California. It's like 70 degrees, and they're wearing it. It's like, I don't know how you're wearing it, dude. It's way too hot for that.
Yeah. 70 degrees out there is a little different than 70 on the East Coast, though.
Yeah,
Even up there, you're dealing with humidity.
yeah. Anything below 75 is cold for them.
Yeah, yeah. I worked in Florida, and kids would come in hoodies at like 75, and I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? This is
Shorts and a short sleeve shirt, my dude.
yeah, this is I'm dying here. So take us through the whole line. We got the pants, we got the winter hoodie, we got
Yeah.
the pod pack. Are we missing anything else?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a pretty like skeleton crew like product line. So pants, pod pack are our main thing. Hoodie, jerseys have been like a big portion of our business this year. Just kind of rounds out the like products we for like outerwear for players to wear.
Yeah.
Hoodies are definitely a little bit more niche and like more towards like that winter timing. We made a set of flex soft ears, 4 prototypes of those for like a couple of years, and we really thought that GI was going to finally put them out because this was at Texas 2019. Nick Slowiak saw me wearing my flexes with my ears on them and goes like, dude, those are awesome. I was like, yeah, my business partner made them for me by hand. And he was like, took a picture of it. I was like, oh, here we go. GI's going to come out with them. And it's like, nobody came out with them until like, what was it, last year, where flex ears became like a whole huge thing for like the super dead ears and everything. And
Yeah.
that's when we came out with our soft ears, and we were just kind of washed. I was like, all right, everybody wants hard plastic ears. Like, that's fine. But yeah, we have those. And then we just make your like typical like lifestyle wear, like custom t-shirts, long sleeves. I know that for one of my reps in his pod running business out in California, we do like hooded long sleeves for them whenever they ask. Your typical stuff for whenever anybody wants it. We probably don't promote it as much as we should, but all that stuff it's the extra add-ons. Not everybody is into it. Is like, hey, like, yeah, the guys, they want custom tech tees and stuff. Like, or like only a handful of the guys on the team want tech tees, but I definitely say our main stuff is our pants, pack, and hoodies, and now jerseys.
And you guys have Like, how's the process? I feel like it's changed a little bit, but how was the process in picking teams to work?
So we are super flexible with picking teams. Like we're not in a place where we have the luxury of like, yeah, we're going to say no to teams. It's really like we have our pricing and like whatever teams want, and then just like levels of support that we give. So like, for example, all of our teams that even doesn't, as long as your team is in Kinetic gear, you have the ability to get media from us if we're at the event and we're doing media. Most of the time, like we're pretty much just at NXL, we're at WCPPL. Like if I had a bunch of teams down in Florida or in Texas, like we would be sending our video guy out there. But like you have the chance. We don't gatekeep any of our media. Like I have guys on teams that'll see clips like, hey man, can you send me this clip? Is like, I'm not gonna send you this one clip. I have a whole Google Drive folder of the raw footage. You just got to download it. I sent after one WCPBL, I sent a team like 100 gigs of raw footage.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like it's there. We don't gatekeep it. I'm not gonna edit it for you, but like it's there if you want it. Same thing with our edited photos, like that we use for our page. Like all our teams have to do, they just have to ask, and it's a Google Drive link away. From there, we try to help out with like paint deals. Currently, this year we're partnered with Vulcan. Before we were partnered with ProShar. Before Infamous came in and started distributing it for them, trying to make sure that they get contingency. We started our own contingency last year and expanded that contingency this year, which is a little bit different than everybody else. It's not as much as everybody else, but it's cash.
Okay. Instead of
Credits to like the store or whatever. It's like,
instead of credits to the store, essentially.
Yeah. So that was one of the big things that when we were talking about it internally is like, what do teams want and what do players want? It's how do I make my season cheaper? It's like, well, I'm not going to give you store credit because like we don't sell lenses and squeegees and all these stuff that like you need to always be buying. It's like, but I'll give you cash. I'm not going to give you as much as everybody else. I'll PayPal you like the Tuesday after the event. Like, no problem. I think I've had maybe one team this year actually get it. There's like some like T's and C's that go with it. But yeah, I would love if I had tons of teams like and me just sending out cash. I've told some of my NXL teams like, hey man, like if you're part of our cash contingency, I would love to go up on stage with a fat wad of cash and just hand you cash on stage. Like
That would be awesome.
that is my dream, is to be able to do that and be like, yeah, that right there is like, it's a spectacle in itself. It's like when Brawl won D2 Chicago, I think it was like 2019, and Tom Sellers like threw the wads of cash on the pro field. Like I would love to be able to do something like that, but with one of my teams. I think that's just like a really cool thing. And I talked to Jeff Stein at one point in time. I actually ran my own podcast
From Bandit and Hurricanes,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I asked him, is like, how do you choose your sponsors? Like at the end of the day, it's bottom line. It's like, how do I make the overall season cheaper for my team? And that's how he chose his sponsors. Like who's going to give the most gear, who's going to give the most pain, who's going to give the best contingency. However I make my season cheaper, that's going to be the people I go with. So instead of giving, hey man, you got $1,000 of credits to our store, it's like, okay, so well, if I don't need anything, I got to buy all this gear and then I got to sell all this gear. It's like, what's the point of that? It's just like, hey man, it's not as much. Here's cash in your pocket. You can distribute it to the team. You don't have to go through selling things, or it's like it goes to your next entry, or like the paint bill or whatever. We have a couple teams that are with us that are like our head to toe, that they're part of our cash contingency, and then they play NXL shooting Vulcan paint, and now they have the Vulcan paint contingency. So now their paint is like, if they win, their paint is covered in nail, and they're getting cash on top of it. Now we're talking about, we're really making teams events cheaper if they succeed, and that's really what it's about. There's levels of support. It kind of depends on like where teams are and what we're able to do. I can't do everything for everybody, but we're trying to expand our contingencies and like what we're able to do from like a media support to do as much as we can. That kind of fits within our budget.
Well, and I like what you guys, you showcase your teams. You got a bunch of divisional teams. We connected through Smoke,
Okay.
which had been like a long standing team with you guys. So I just like that you guys give that shine
Of course.
to everyone, like
Yeah.
that.
The divisional guys, like those are the ones that like they live and breathe a brand. Like they are true believers in a brand. I mean, it's been really interesting with Uprising this year because like they approached us about us becoming their sponsors, where most of the time it's manufacturers approaching teams.
Yeah.
So like they were the ones that like they wanted to work with us, and it was really cool to kind of have that dynamic that they chose us to work with us, where they could have potentially gotten a better deal with somebody else. And it's great to see that they're doing great this year. And
Yeah.
like we're trying to make sure that we showcase that. But yeah, like the divisional guys, like especially the ones that have been with us basically from the beginning, like I cannot give enough love to anybody that plays divisional paintball that like bought in at the Kickstarter, one of our first teams, and are still around with us. Big shout out to like Brawl, who's been part of Kinetic for forever. Smoke has been around with us for a while. And yeah, like those memories being in a cool clip, like it's what every divisional person hopes to. I mean, aside from winning, I mean, everybody wanted to be in a Cassidy Sanders video at one point.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone did.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we try to do with our media is like, I was talking to Hosky, who plays on Aftershock now. When he first made it to Aftershock, he was like, yeah, like I kind of really got recognized a lot because you guys kept posting clips of the killers. Like we were doing well, but like you guys gave me the media exposure out there, like me shooting guys. You know, I mean, it attached with winnings, like that exposure helped me out a lot. So I definitely see the correlation for like teams that are doing well, like, and as long as they get the exposure that they need, killers no longer exists. Hosky got picked up, and a bunch of those guys got picked up. Like, you know what I mean? It's a big thing in the world of social media. Like, if you want to try to go play pro, like you need to get that exposure on top of like trying to go to clinics and like pro tryouts and stuff. Anything to help our guys, even if they leave Kinetic, which Hosky, great example, left. Like nothing but love for that dude. He has nothing but love for us. So it's definitely like building relationships for the long.
Awesome. You mentioned Uprising. Are they your first pro team as Kinetic?
Yeah, they are our first official pro team, which is really awesome. They're in pants and they're in jerseys. Couldn't lock them down for packs. Just it happens. No
Uh-huh.
worries. I think like one or two of the guys wears our packs because they choose to. But yeah, I mean it's really awesome. And for a while we had a couple guys that were either friends or family members of pro players, and like they're, those pro guys would tell them it's like, hey, like have you heard about Kinetic? Like they make some awesome stuff. Obviously, they're tied into whatever sponsorship deal they are with their pro teams. Like they can't do anything about it, but they'll pass along the message. We kind of had this internal mantra for a while because we saw it a lot of times. It's like we're the sponsor that players wear when their sponsor isn't looking. I know a bunch of guys that wear Kinetic in practices, but they would wear something else at events because it was tied to their paint deal.
Uh-huh.
So like that uphill battle of like locking in a paint deal, and just like getting paintball cheaper. Like I totally understand that, but it's like behind closed doors is like they know what they want to wear. So being able to be in a position working with Vulcan now really helps that. And it also legitimizes us a little bit more working with Jimmy Hickey and the whole Uprising crew because it kind of puts us on that main stage. And I definitely see a lot of people recognizing that we kind of deserve to be out there.
Well, you definitely deserve to be there because the reputation of Kinetic is super strong in that it's going to last forever.
Thank you. Thank you.
and you're getting what you pay for. You know, I haven't met someone who's had a pair of your pants or a pod pack and has been like, it just doesn't work for me. Like everyone who I know that's worn them has been super flattering about it. And I feel like you guys in Uprising, like it just fits as far as a branding, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
since Jimmy came in and bought the team and kind of gave it this little punk rock style, if you will.
Yeah. That whole
Where
grassroots, like build it from the ground up. Yeah. We saw that as well. I mean, that's what we are. That's what he is. I mean, he's a founding member of Uprising as well. So it just, the stars kind of aligned for us to really like make a go at this. So and like we took a big bite, took a big bet, signed it for 2 years, and I hope it continues.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. You were able to ink a 2-year deal in a world where it seems like there's not too many 2-year deals.
Yeah.
Outside of well, I guess there's only one factory team left, but certain teams are essentially factory teams, right? Just not as factory as the Ironman.
Yeah.
But he's been with HK for like 10 years now. There's a bunch of others that like you're gonna see in this certain brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit, man.
Okay.
How did you find paintball?
Yeah. So yeah, we go back far enough. So I first got into paintball. Started playing competitively after World Cup '09. Got onto a Young Guns team that was based out of an indoor field in New Jersey called All Star Paintball. So we were all star kids. I was like the oldest, maybe the oldest or the second oldest kid on the team. I was like 14 or 15. And yeah, we just played a bunch indoors. We played out of Top Gun Paintball, which no longer exists, RIP, which was across the street from Six Flags Great Adventure and was also the home of PSP NJO 2011. Played that event, did horribly, but that's besides the point. But yeah, that's kind of when I got into paintball and left like the typical regular regional local series to go play college at Temple University, which I'm glad to see that college paintball is like making more of a comeback, but it's definitely not what it used to be. CPA for all my NCPA alumni, especially those that played Class A, to be able to play almost true X ball. So it was like 10-minute halves, 12 and a half balls per second, no mercy. Yeah, so that was a ton of fun. I played the most amount of paintball ever, and it was just a really fun and awesome time. So like especially like your team is comprised of only students that go to your school, so you weren't able to choose your teammates. It was just the luck of the draw, which made NCPA the Wild West. Had like Texas A&M was part of like Diesel, the original like Diesel crew,
Uh,
and like Ryan Hall and stuff. University of Omaha Vicious,
yeah,
which was a couple years before me, where it was like 7 Vicious guys, and they still lost in finals. I think it was like the Penn State, because Penn
yeah.
State lost the year before. They came out with bloodbath. That was really awesome to see that. FAU was a lot of the like Vipers guy. UCF was a lot of like the Static and the Jits guys. But then you'd see like some random like Cornell University, which is like a bunch of like D5 dudes. Cool guys, you know what I mean? But it's like the skill gap depending on where you played out of and like what division you're
Yeah.
in. You'd see scores. I think I won one match like 11-1. Then you'd see like nail biter games of like 5-4. But yeah, NCPA was definitely probably one of the coolest things that I ever got to do ever playing paintball, including playing overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, NCPA Nationals was basically Spring Break 2.0, but it's just paintball filled. One year at CFP, like the HK guys were out there with like their tent and their like big RV, like playing beer pong. My buddy beat Bear Digital in beer pong, which is hilarious. He got one of those like old HK like beer koozie packs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That this is back when like HK was like ruthless and
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. Real party
throwing.
animals.
Yeah, exactly. It was just straight party animals. But yeah, it was so cool. And I probably have before now leagues are getting almost all leagues now have a webcast, but before that, like I had more webcast time than most of my friends that were playing like national paintball, which is really awesome to see. Like, and Maddie Marshall and Tom Martinez are commentating and stuff. So it was really cool. Post that, I played this league called Foxball, also RIP, out of Upton, Massachusetts.
One of those legendary leagues.
Yes,
Like if
shout
you
out
know.
Dave Painter. That was an awesome league. Also, again, like when I went to go play that, it was like NXL rules, but it was like edited NXL rules. It was like 17 minutes, no mercy rule the first year that I played Foxball. Also, once again, you could go up like 10-0, and it was so much fun.
And you bought a franchise for the year, right?
Yeah, so it was ran truly like a league. So like you'd have 10 regular season matches, and then the last event of the year, which was playoffs, was like a true tournament. So you were able to work with Dave, and there was actually a team that would come over from Germany and play all their season matches over the course of 2 weekends. And so they play 5 matches over the course of 2 weekends instead of coming up 5 times. So, but it was like really weird. Like we would travel, and it was like we only have like 2 matches in a day, and like that's our whole day. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. Upton was a really cool place. I mean, it smelled so badly next to the pits because there was like this like water drainage thing on the backside of the field that just had this stagnant water and always smelled bad. But like you knew it. A lot of the Upton guys, Upton 187 crew guys, or the Bay State Bandit guys would be reffing there. So you had like a great group of guys to ref. It was just a fun league. Yeah, post that, played like a couple locals like here and there, played like an OPS, went overseas to go play. I played the last Chantilly ever, which was absolutely incredible. That big building in the background that everybody thinks is a castle is actually a horse stable.
Yeah.
It's for the French National Equestrian like horse stable, and you played on the inner track of like the horse racing track. That's where all the fields were. Yeah, so that was awesome. Played at Amsterdam. I guess that was like 2019. I played Amsterdam, I think. Division 3, played a little bit of Division 2. NXL definitely should not have played Division 2 NXL. Our team was not ready for that. That's besides the point. But yeah, so like played a little bit of everything. The only two big things that I haven't played that I really want to play are one, I didn't get to play CXBL. When I was finishing college, I really wanted to go play CXBL because it was still traditional X ball. And the year that I graduated, that following season, they're like, yeah, we're going to NXL rules. I was like, oh. And that's when the OPL started. Shout out Derek Welts. He puts on a phenomenal league. I've been up there for one event, vending. Love the Canadian guys. Derek does phenomenal work up in Canada, up in the Ontario area. Can't give enough praise for him. And then I also really want to play WCPPL. It's on my list. It's just a little hard to get out there right now to go play WC, but Hinman puts on a great league. One of my sales/brand rep guys, his name is just Villegas. He runs a pod running service and he runs pods. His service runs pods for like half the league almost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, I'd love to go out there to go do that. I got a lot of homies out on the West Coast. So it would be nice to be able to show face out there at least once. But it's in the books. We'll try to make it happen.
Yeah, let's talk about the pod running service for a second, because you obviously played back in the day. They didn't have that. Like you had to do it as a player.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So his pod running service is called the Runners.
Okay.
He does it for VCPPL. I think he tried to do it for USXBL. He was in Vegas last year and did it. I mean, dude does great. I mean, everybody loves that service. Like and I mean, going to events, like especially at NXL, people are always asking to like hire a pod runner or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he has very reasonable pricing for his pod running service. And like I knew this girl named Corin, lives out in like Montana. She used to be part of like the distortion camp.
Okay.
I think her dad was like coaching or whatever, and she would make a killing going to NXL just running pods. And she was a one man total pod running pit crew. Like she would go run pods and then have all the pods filled for teams. Like they would throw her like $100 a match. She's like single handedly like run the pits. She was absolutely incredible. So like yeah, there's definitely money to be made, and I see people all the time just like I need to make some extra money this week. It's like go run pods. Like people will pay you plenty of money, and you could be working the entire day. There's no shortage of pod runners and pit help. But yeah, I mean, when I was playing, yeah, it was just the guys on the team. Maybe we had like somebody's girlfriend like to help us like fill pods or whatever. But it's definitely always going to be a player that's either not playing or like got shot out early or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's way more coaches now.
Yes.
Like I remember we had to self-coach. Like,
Yeah.
and if you had a coach, you were spending a lot of money, or you were special, or someone's like little project, right? Like now I feel like everyone has a coach.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
all the way down to like D5.
well, I think it comes from the legitimization of the sport. You know, I mean, people are realizing the importance of having a coach, somebody that is third party, unbiased, can watch the breakout, watch the full point, come up with the game plan instead of somebody that like died early, coming off the field is like, hey, I need to get wiped down and filled up. And it's like, what's going on with the point so that I can make a new game plan? Or like you guys just won the point and somebody walking off the field at the last second is like, hey, yeah, we're gonna do the same thing. And that worked. So I mean, it's great to see that there's more coaches in the sport. I mean, it's truly needed.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is, and I think it's helping elevate it for sure. I mean, you look at old videos, and the D2 guys look like D4 guys now. It's a little, I think it's elevated everyone's play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're obviously packing to go to the
Yes.
the event this weekend. What are you shooting? You aren't shooting, right? This week?
No. Well, actually, technically, I am shooting. I have a bunch of interviews that I have to do with the Uprising
Okay.
guys. No, I've offloaded all of our media needs. Right now, our main videographer, his name is Bryce Diaz. He does all of our social media content for video, and he's an absolute rock star. He is so good at what he does. And every year, I try to figure out if I could be in a position where I can just pay him full time to just go make content because he is truly talented, and he's doing it in his free time essentially. So if I could get him in a position where he just did it full time, like he would, his skill set is already fantastic, but he would soar to the moon. And I wouldn't be surprised if like a large company or just like somebody outside of the sport picked him up because he knows he knows what he needs to do and he knows how things should be done. But it just comes down to, it's like, hey man, if you want me to do this, like I need more time and I need more money to be able to do this, to like allocate the time. And like I'm just not in a position to do it. But I mean, everything that he puts out, like he's an ace. I see every year about like videographer of the year and he doesn't get it nominated, and it's like, damn, it's really because you work for us. Like anybody that is in the media world and sees our stuff and sees what he puts out kind of knows knows him a little bit. But yeah, like I hate to be that guy, but like I plucked him out of the group like real early because I saw the town. It's like, if money is what's going to motivate you to like get better, is like say less. Like I'll put money in your pocket and just keep grinding. It's like I know where you're going. I know where you're going, and it's definitely to the moon.
Nice. Yeah, I really like they're doing those awards. A little inside baseball, which is, I mean, that's just the way the world works. Let's be honest. So if people want to find you at the event, where are they going to be able to find you?
So at NXL, I mean, kind of depends on the day. It kind of depends on the day and what needs to get done. I'm either dropping off gear, taking meetings. This event, I'm going to have to run interviews. But a lot of times it's like walking through the pits because we don't have a booth. I'm walking through the pits all the time, talking to our teams. A lot of times, like I'll hug and be next to like my video guy and say, hey, wherever you're going, I'm coming with you because it's like I need to go press the flesh. I hang out over at the Masons booth. Shout out Masons. Love those guys. David Durkin, Nick Masons, and Gray Passmore. It's super close with all those guys. And I help them out in their booth, and they give like a nice central base camp for Bryce to kind of put down our stuff. We have a really good relationship with them, but most of the time I'm just walking around. I am very easily and hard to access because I'm walking around the event. So
Okay.
it's like wherever you are, but any time that I've had teams like, hey man, like we need to pick up our stuff, is like, where are you? Like I will come to you and I will bring you your stuff most of the times. Or it's like, hey, it's at the booth. Like I'll meet. It's at the Masons booth because they let me put it down there. It's like I'll meet you there. So I tell anybody and everybody, like if you're trying to find me at the event, literally just message the Kinetic page. If you don't have my personal number or my personal Facebook or whatever, it's like we can meet up. It's that simple. I try to make as much time as possible to go out and go say hi to people and meet people. The past couple of events, I've kind of been stuck inside the Masons booth because they needed some help. And more than happy to help those guys out. But by being stuck in a booth, I haven't been able to see as many people that I like.
Yeah. Jesus, I mean, talk about a company that boomed, right? Which is a testament to him doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, the last marker I purchased was through Masons.
Same here. Same here.
And it's just, and he's got a lot of cool stuff now too, especially at the events.
Yeah, they're like custom marker lines that they have. I mean, they have so many 101s, 102s, custom anno stuff. Like, I mean, they have a full project, Ripper, Twister. I mean, they truly have it all. I mean, it is a one-stop shop for any marker needs that anybody can possibly want.
So yeah. To loop back to Uprising, because you've mentioned it a couple times now, you're doing player interviews with them. Are we going to see, is that going to be like content for the Instagram, or is there a larger project going on that you can hint at? Or
so yes to both. We
okay,
are working on a larger project that will be living on Instagram. We are definitely behind schedule,
as
but
most good art projects are.
Yes, yes, as most good art projects are. I mean, we're going through like our episode lists that would be on Instagram. So anything between like 90 seconds to like 3 minute videos. I don't know. We got like 20 episodes like that we're shooting interviews for, and we're behind schedule on like doing some interviews because I'll tell you right now, it is tough getting these guys to do an interview. Like just from a scheduling standpoint, it is exhaustive. Jimmy's been super helpful with trying to like make it happen. But I mean, we're trying to do the most, like how we make our products, like all of our interviews, dual camera mic. Like if we need lights, like we'll get a light set up and whatnot. Bryce is doing all the editing work, and it's also one of those things is like he's got to edit our typical stuff and then do this on top of that. But the nice thing about like a big project like this is like there's no rush for it. But yeah, there's definitely like a big Uprising like art project like in the works, and I'm super pumped for once it starts to come out, and especially with all the amount of like pre-production work that we're doing. And it should really go through. I wouldn't be surprised if we're posting content through into like 2026.
Well, and you have the boys signed through 2026, right?
Yeah, we have the
So that'll
Uprising
be
boys
fine.
signed through 2026. Exactly. So we can make some cool stuff. So we just upgraded Bryce's camera as well, which was a much needed upgrade. So I mean, we over the past, I'd say like year and a half, we've been upgrading his gear for what he needs to be to kind of like take him to that next level. So it's been a lot of investment into just the team and the guys like being responsive. Like yeah, like we're trying to make them into rock stars. So I'm super happy about that.
Oh, but they're they're doing their part. They're I they kind of lived at the, let's just say it how it is. They were living at the bottom of the barrel for a while, kind of staving off regulation. Did I say that right?
Relegation.
Relegation. Thank you.
No worries.
And Jimmy kind of came in, and when he got to take the reins, like it's pretty impressive what he's done with the team.
Yeah.
And
So
obviously, like that was there before he got there, and he's been able to do whatever he's doing there to make that camp more successful.
dude, absolutely. I mean, Jimmy's pumped so much time and energy into that team. It's crazy. And the story behind Uprising is really interesting. And like, I'll give you like a little behind the scenes look into it. It's like that a lot of people, for people that just started playing competitively, say in the last 5 years, only have seen Uprising be like that, like lower tier team. But this is a team, they are now in their 10th pro NXL season. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of teams that have done that unless you're like in like the top 5, top 10. You know what I mean? Even still in the top 10, there's not a lot of teams to do it. They've done it with the same core, basically 5 or 6 guys. You know what I mean? They were the first team to win an NXL pro spot. Like, and if you look at that year that they won their NXL pro spot, they had a lot of tough teams that they had to beat. Rack City Clutch, DMG when it was like Thomas Kim, and like that whole
Yeah.
crew, like that was super. Diesel, ML Kings when they were stunting in semi pro. Like if you go back into APPA, and I would definitely recommend going to take a look at it, and you'll see it's like wow. I mean these guys know how to ball, like, and
Yeah.
they had some, we'll call it for lack of a better way of describing it, like they had some organizational issues to kind of like keep them going, but like they never lost. You know what I mean? They never got relegated. Of all those teams that like made the bump up, that when the league expanded, it's like them and NYX that have not been relegated yet. And but their team has stayed the same. NYX is a completely different team now.
Yeah. And I mean, technically got relegated, then got brought back
Yeah, it was like
by a
the
name
king. Yeah,
change, right?
yeah,
But it's an ML Kings kind of
exactly,
spot.
exactly. But it's like they've they've always stayed pro. They've been good enough to compete in pro. They've earned every single bit of respect um across the board. You know what I mean? Being a top 5 team is tough. You know what I mean? It's not easy. Like you gotta be that good, and you gotta have that type of funding. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to run those practices all the time. I mean, look at Fit. Like shout out Shout out my buddy Jake Seaball, who got picked up by Fit this year. Super happy for him and how much they've been winning. Dude, they practice 5 days a week. It's mandatory. It's like three drill days plus 2 playing days on the weekend. Like they have an intense practice schedule and like they have a great work ethic. But that's how you win. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You got to have the money to fund all that paint.
Yeah. Well, and they were the first. Not even rookie. Like, yes, they were the first rookie team to win World Cup, and God knows how long, ever since the NXL came back. But like, they've really been the first team to like break that top 8 in a long time, like and win and be a new consistent contender up there.
Yeah. So I think what was it, Aftermath, when they first made it back, like they were doing really well and then they lost a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like they basically fell apart. But yeah, I mean, at the pro level, it comes down to funding and how much you're able to be behind a gun is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Even like the Dynasty guys, those guys practice all the time. And if you're not in a position where you're just practicing more than just, if you can't practice more than just on weekends, like it's going to be tough to compete at those like upper levels. And Uprising has been crushing it. So I'd love to see, hoping for a Cincinnati win. Fingers crossed. Be great for the story.
It would be.
Yeah, it'd be great for the story. But yeah, I mean, they definitely have a squad this year, and they're curating rookies and new talent and stuff to come into the fold because they're a team that they don't buy players like a lot of these like top tier teams. They don't have, it's not in the budget, so they have to build up rookies to like take those spots, and I think they're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. So speaking of playing, do you get to play anymore?
Man.
Even if it's locally?
Not as much as I would like. I wish I would play a little bit more. But I play casually every now and then. I'm just not in a position right now to like go play competitively, even locally, time, budget wise. But I go out to Battle Creek. Shout out Chris Straza.
Okay.
Yep. Battle Creek and the Wolfpack Boys, New York Brave, like those guys, New York Nexus, like they all let me kind of get spins with them. Tropic Thunder when they're up there. I grew up with the Leverage guys. So like it's great to see that they're playing pro now. But yeah, like I get spins every now and then. Every now and then I get a good move or two, and then I basically gloat all day. I'll have one really great point. I'll get like a 4-pack and be like, yeah, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
We'll hang it up. It's like, yo, come back out on the field. Let's run it. Let's run it again. He's like, I'm gonna shoot you this time. It's like, nah, it's okay. You play a lot.
Yeah. So
it's fine.
Sometimes you got to go out on the win, right?
Exactly. Bro, you got still have a case left. It's like, bro, you need a drill. If I'm shooting you got to be drilling more. But yeah, so those guys, I mean, they're nothing but family. And I can't thank them enough. And every single time I'm out there with them, I always thank them. It's like, it means a lot. Especially Battle Creek is a field where it's like, you really got to be on a team to really get those spins. And so like on those like off weekends where I can kind of get in with like the D3, D2, or even sometimes like the semi-pro guys, like it's nice that they let me play with them just to, I don't want to say keep the sword sharp because it's definitely dull, but like
less rusty.
Yeah, exactly. Less rusty and just like it's fun to play. I play NXL every now and then. It's usually when like a Kinetic team is like, hey man, like we really need a body. And most of the time it's like, well, I don't have funds to play, but I'm going to be at the event. If you really need a body that bad, like I'll bring my gear. I just need to borrow a gun. And that's happened a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah. I got added to the roster as like the 6th body, like the Monday, the week of the event. It's like, oh, okay, it seems like I'm playing a lot and you really need this body. Yeah. So I'll play. But most of the time, like going to events is more work than it is pleasure at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine. Well, I mean, we're kind of at an hour, so we'll, love to touch base with you maybe in the off season. If you ever want to come and announce anything, feel free to use the platform and
absolutely,
we can do that. And who you want to shout out?
Well, first and foremost, I want to shout out the whole Kinetic team. My business partner, Ken, absolutely incredible business partner, number one guy, just a wizard at design work. He's always taking in ideas from teams, players, doesn't matter. It's like, hey man, I saw this in whatever industry. This look cool. Can this be used for paintball? It's like he's always taking into account anything that's a proven technology. Shout out all of my brand and sales reps, Jesse Villegas, Matt Furman, Jake Kennedy, Tyler Smith. Like, can't be spreading the good word without those guys. Bryce Diaz, incredible media person, would not have the social media presence without him. I probably also don't pay him nearly as much as I probably should. The whole media gang crew, like our group of friends that are just media people that we house with at events, like love getting houses with them. Like they're so helpful, especially like when we need to borrow gear and stuff. Like huge, can't thank them enough. Jimmy, the whole Uprising crew, love those guys. They're great people. Anybody that works with us in terms of retailers, so like BFP Gear, Masons, Punishers, nothing but great relationships with all those guys. The last and foremost is like our teams and our customers. Like the company started off as a passion project, and basically us saying that like we think we could do this and we think that we're better than everybody. We came in real cocky, but it wouldn't be where we are now if we didn't have the trust and belief of our teams and our customers at the end of the day. Like those are the people that made this company happen and helped us grow. I can't think, if you're a supporter of Kinetic, even if you don't wear gear, but you're just like, hey man, like these guys know what they're doing, you should absolutely check them out. Like I love them all. Like they're just, yeah, wouldn't be anywhere without the people around me.
Well said. Well, just hang on. We got to let it all upload, but I'm going to stop the recording and we'll see you next time on the Planet Paintball podcast.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code Planet Paintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball podcast